Good day, folks. Welcome to another episode of Andrew's Life. I have a juicy story for you guys today. Well, maybe I shouldn't say juicy. It's more like a very tragic story for you guys. Now, this story has been all over social media at this point. It came out several days ago, but I'm gonna go ahead and put my 2 cents into this story. This story is about a Detroit mother who lost two of her children due to them freezing to death. Now, despite the amount of emotions that are going to be in this story due to the loss of two young lives, and there's also a lot of people that are passing all kinds of judgment. As I go through this story with a fine tooth comb, uh, I'm not gonna pay no mind to none of the emotions coming from anybody in this story. I'm just gonna listen to the story. I'm gonna take in the information and I'm gonna react. So let's go ahead and roll the clip.
That shook Metro Detroit after two kids died of apparent hypothermia in a casino parking garage. Welcome to 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
I'm Simon Shaykat. This story has devastated our area. Just moments ago, 7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham talking with the mother of those two children.
Darren joining us live right now from Detroit's West Side with more from their conversation. And Darren, so many people talking about this. This is simply heartbreaking.
Very heartbreaking, Carolyn. Simon. Moments ago, I did have the opportunity to speak to Tatiana Williams, who lost her 9-year-old and her 2-year-old, also in the vehicle at the time, her 4-year-old and her 8-year-old. Also, Tatiana's mother and her two siblings, a 13-year-old and a 17-year-old, also stay in that vehicle. She tells me that she has been homeless for 3 months and that she is trying to do better for herself, trying to get back on her feet. She told me she's a CNA, a medical assistant, and that she was actually about to start a new job tomorrow. And so I did speak with her, and I asked her, one of the questions I did ask her was to take me back to yesterday.
Yesterday, I woke them up to wake them up from school. My son wasn't moving. And I kept saying, Freddie, please get up. Please. Please, for me, just get up. Don't do this to me. And I tried to give him CPR because I'm a senior and a medical assistant. I've been working there since I was 17. I tried to give him CPR and I was just giving him CPR. I just kept saying, Freddie, don't leave me. Don't leave me, please. I saw the green and brown stuff coming out of his mouth. I instantly rushed him to the hospital. I was yelling out the window, stop, stop, stop. We gotta get through traffic. My baby, he's dying. We get to the hospital. I told valet, can you go get some help? He took too long, so I got out the car to get help. They came to the car, instantly grabbed my baby on his head, get a stretch. He's not breathing. Help. Cold blue. Hey.
All right, folks, my first question that I have already is, where did her children go while she was at work? Did she take her children to a babysitter? Did she take her children to other family members or friends? Or did these kids stay in her vehicle during her work day? That's my first question that I have. Like I said, I got a few questions on this one. Let's keep on going.
Everybody tried. I didn't even know my 2-year-old was dying. I was in it with my 9-year-old. And they brought her in right after they pronounced him dead. And my mama came to me, she said, Yaya. That's what we call her, but her name is Amelia. We just call her Yaya. And they said she wasn't breathing. And they pronounced her dead too. I asked everybody for help. I called out of state. I called cities I didn't know. I called cities people asked me to call. I even asked Detroit. I've been on CAM list for the longest. Everybody now wants to help. After I lost 2 kids, I've been asked for help. I feel like it wasn't their time. I did everything I was supposed to do. They had everything. Everything they wanted. Only thing they didn't have was a house. But from electronics to clothes, anything they asked me for, my kids didn't even get whooped.
Okay, let me intervene briefly here. Well, I don't know how much electronics or clothes or anything that she done bought these kids. I'm hoping that she didn't buy too much of that stuff. I'm hoping she didn't spend too much money on any of that stuff. Because if she did, I'm guessing that could be one of the reasons why that she's homeless with her children living in her vehicle. Now, another question I have, once again, is how did she end up homeless? Now, I would have to assume that at some point she was renting a house out or an apartment, and maybe she couldn't afford to continue to pay the rent, so either A, she just voluntarily decided to not renew her lease, or two, maybe she got evicted. Those are the kind of details that I would like to know. I'm just curious. I think it would be helpful to have those details available to the public in order for people to make a sound decision when it comes to passing judgment on people. And as far as the kids having everything they wanted, to be quite frank, I think her children, rest in peace, but if they were, I think her children rather have a roof over their head and be comfortable at night, sleep in an actual bed, as opposed to sleeping in a vehicle and being cold. I'm just saying. Let's keep on going though. Let's see what else is going on. And she also mentioned that she asked everybody for help. She asked the city. She asked, I guess, services outside of the city. And I think she mentioned that she even reached out to the baby father and asked him to take the kids. Cause I know a lot of you guys who are not familiar with this story, you're probably wondering, well, where the heck is the baby father at? Why is this woman homeless with a bunch of children in a vehicle in Detroit, Michigan, where the temperatures are cold as hell? Let's keep going.
I lost the one who made me a mother. I lost a 2-year-old. It hurt losing 2 kids in one night. I don't wish this on nobody. And if you can get help, please go get help. Because I don't want nobody else to go through what I'm feeling. Just wherever you can get help from, if it's not from the city, the state, no other city or state, just go. Like, you don't have to suffer.
I got to intervene once again. Unfortunately, even for women like her who have children, help is not always available. As much as people automatically assume that a person that is homeless, especially if they got kids like this woman, they can just go to a shelter, they can get some help, everything's gonna be okay. And a lot of people automatically assume that people are homeless because they don't want to follow the rules of the shelter. Well, this woman is clearly stating that she tried to get help. And unfortunately for her and her 2 children that passed away, help was not available. Because if help was available, she would have took advantage of it. I think she would have anyway. Some of you might say differently, but I think she would have. And if she got help, there's no guarantee that the shelter would have even been safe or sanitary. Because I've heard all type of stories of people going into shelters, and especially women, they get beat up, they get hard, all kind of bad things happen to them. Their stuff gets stolen. The shelters a lot of times are not sanitary. They might go to a shelter just for one night and come out with scabies and bed bugs or whatever diseases that are off in these shelters sometimes. So let's see what else this woman's got to say. Let's continue.
Just very, very, very heartbreaking. The new McFall Brothers Funeral Home is covering the children's burial plans and funeral expenses. Williams, 29, she's 29 years old. She is also receiving help from Detroit Power Detroit, that organization. That's the building that we're actually standing outside of here, where we spoke to her not long ago. And so anyone who is interested in helping her family will be sure to get that information on our website, WXYZ.com. And 7 News Detroit will have more from Williams.
Our other big story of the night, a father speaking to us tonight after learning 2 of his kids died from exposure to the cold in a casino parking lot.
Yesterday, 7 News Detroit reporter Darren Cunningham spoke to the mother of those 2 kids about the tragic situation.
Yesterday, I woke them up to wake them up from school. My son wasn't moving. And I kept saying, Freddie, please get up. Please.
Well, tonight, Darren is getting the father's side of this story, hearing about the moment he learned 2 of his children had passed away.
Darnell Curry Sr. wiped away tears while talking with me about his children, Darnell Jr. and Amelia, and the distressing phone call he says he took from their mother, Tatiana Williams, on Monday.
I went to the gym. As soon as I got on the treadmill, she called saying, can I make it to the hospital right now? They got him. I was hoping it was a sick joke, but it wasn't.
According to Detroit police, 9-year-old Darnell Jr. and 2-year-old Amelia died while sleeping in a vehicle at the Hollywood Casino.
Okay, I gotta intervene. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you people. Now, when this story first came out a few days ago, at least when I first heard it a few days ago, initially, I was probably one of the many people that faulted the father. I automatically wrote the father off as being nonchalant, not caring about his kids, and just being an overall worthless POS, as many people had. But the more I listen to the story, the more details that come out, the more, rather than judging the father or the mother or judging anybody for that matter, I decided to just go through this story with a fine-tooth comb, ask all the appropriate questions before I pass a judgment. I mean, at this point, I still got some questions. Now, I will say this. Well, here's one question that I have. My question is, did the father know that she was homeless from the beginning? Like, as soon as she lost her residency and she had to move to her van and live out of her van with her kids, did she immediately let the father know that? Did she? Because if she did, and the father chose at that point to not take the kids, then yeah, I would say that father is a POS, in my opinion. But if she didn't let the father know that she was homeless, and he just assumed that she had a roof over, that her and the kids had a roof over her head, and he just simply did not want to be inconvenienced by the kids. Although I do think that that's real crappy for a father to not take his kids in. I'm not going to necessarily write him off as a POS. But let's continue the video and see what they have to say about all that.
At Greektown parking garage. Investigators say the cause appears to be hypothermia, a tragedy stemming from homelessness.
I tried. I asked for help. I asked everybody, even people out of state, but I tried. I tried to keep hotels. I tried to pay people to stay there. It wasn't working for me. You know, people just didn't like too many kids at their house.
I spoke with the children's mother Tuesday evening. She told me she's been living in her vehicle for 3 months, along with her 4 kids, her mother, and 2 teenage siblings. She says she reached out to Curry, who's the father of 3 of her children.
I asked him, I said, can you get your kids for me? I said, I need help. You know I'm homeless. I done kept a room this long. I couldn't keep it no more.
They were homeless. Had Tatiana ever reached out asking to?
No, she did not. All she said was, can I get them? Can I get them just to get them? And can I get them because y'all homeless? That's 2 different things.
She said she had been homeless for 3 months.
Say, I saw it. That's what I saw, about 3 months. But she ain't never said nothing to me. Nothing. So all them other sob stories, they can cut all that. No, she did not.
Curry, who lives in Novi, says Williams never specified why she wanted to drop their kids off to him.
She just asked, can I get them for a couple of days? But I told her I'm working and all that, and I'm out here. We're not close to each other, so I couldn't. But she knows all my family is right around the corner from her.
Did she reach out to any of your family?
No, she did not. And she knows she could have, like we always used to do.
He says the last time he held his children was a month or 2 ago, and that they typically FaceTime, moments he will miss.
And there's
Okay, I got some more questions. I mean, if this man is telling the truth, and the mother could have reached out to his family to get some help, my question now is, why didn't she? Assuming that he's telling the truth. Again, I don't know if he's telling the truth or not in this case, but if he is, my question is, why didn't she reach out to his family? And some people would question why he only sees his kids once a month, or why it's been a month since he saw his kids. And I would say that, no, I'm not a father myself, so I'm going to tread real lightly when I talk about stuff like that. But I would think that as a father, you would want to see your kids at least once a week. I mean, I understand he's working, he's got a job and all that good stuff, but I would think that he would want to see his kids at least once a week. If anything, to make sure everything is okay, to remind the kids that, yes, they do have a loving father in their life. But that's just me, though. Let's keep going.
A police investigation into this. What is it you would like to see come of this? Obviously, nothing's going to bring back your 9-year-old and your 2-year-old.
It doesn't matter to me. Can't get them back, so it's whatever.
Darren Cunningham, 7 News Detroit.
No, you cannot get them back. Our heart aches for this family. I mean, there's so many people reaching out, trying to help. And you know, I would just say, I mean, to anybody in our community.
Let me know I worship the ground them kids walk though.
The 29-year-old mother of the 2 kids that likely froze to death Monday in the parking structure of the Hollywood Casino.
Maybe I asked the wrong people for help. But that was the only thing I did wrong.
Tatiana, remembering how many times she reached out for a place to live, she asked the father of the 2 kids that died.
He had an excuse every time. Either he's working, they can't come where he living. He lived with a female, and the parents and them don't want kids there or something.
She also asked the city of Detroit for help.
I reached out in November. I reached out before that. I've been on the CAM list for a long time. And every time I called and asked if they have a bed, they said they don't have family beds.
So the 7 of them had been sleeping in their 2002 Town and Country van since November. But the kids had everything else.
They ate every day, all day. Goodies, food. They didn't want for nothing.
I'm going to intervene once again. Okay, you guys just heard her. So apparently she's been asking the city for help. Do I believe that she's been asking the city for help? Well, later on in the video, you're going to find out the reason why I do believe that she's been asking the city for help. Now, do I believe that she's been asking the father for help? Well, I kind of do. I mean, to be honest, it's hard to decipher whether she's lying or the father's lying, or maybe they both might be telling some truths and lies. It's hard for me to decipher that. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, she's saying that she's asked the father for help, and and I believe sometime in this video, in this clip, she will mention that she did let the father know that she was homeless. So the father knew, apparently, according to her, that her and the kids were homeless. So the father is saying, and earlier in the clip, as you all heard, the father mentioned, no, she never mentioned nothing about being homeless. She's saying that she did. So I got a question for you guys. Who do you believe? Do you believe this woman, or do you believe the father? I would like to hear from you guys in the comments who you believe. Do you believe her or the father when it comes to her letting the father know that her and the kids were homeless living in their van? Let's keep going.
Every day they went to school. I had one mistake.
And the kid's grandmother, 49-year-old Yvette Goodman, was also in the van that day. Did the van run out of gas?
I have no idea what happened. I have no idea.
Did you fall asleep?
Yes.
And then when you woke...
Only night I fell asleep. I usually be woke.
And when you woke up, what happened?
My grandson wasn't moving.
A GoFundMe account has been set up to help the family.
As we prepare to honor the lives of Darnell and...
All right, people, listen to this story. Listen to this clip very carefully. And this clip is going to be the reason why I believe this woman's been asking the city for help.
And Amelia Curry.
The city of Detroit working to honor the lives of two of its youngest residents who died under tragic circumstances.
Our Department of Housing and Revitalization is working diligently to secure stable housing for the family.
The move comes as an investigation is underway by Detroit police after the...
I take that as a cover-up. I mean, obviously the city doesn't want to get sued by the mother or by the family. So I take what that lady is saying as a cover-up. I think that's the Detroit mayor that's speaking. I think that's the Detroit mayor. And I take all that as a cover-up. Let's keep going.
Curry children, just 2 and 9 years old, are believed to have froze to death as they lived with their mother and siblings in the family's van.
We are hopeful that we will have them settled in a safe and comfortable home by this weekend.
The city of Detroit is not only working to help the family get housing, they're also helping the family with funeral expenses.
All aspects of the services, including the repast, are being provided at no cost to the family. The city has been deeply involved in coordinating every detail of the visitation and funeral services with the single goal of easing as much of the burden on the family as possible.
The city of Detroit has partnered with New...
Well, let's take a moment and give the city of Detroit a round of applause for stepping up and doing the right thing. I still think this is all a cover-up. And secondly, the city should have stepped up and done something like this before those 2 kids passed away. Let's keep going.
McFall Brothers Funeral Home.
We immediately sprung into action and we decided that we would donate our services. We know that this mother and this father have experienced a horrendous loss.
The funeral home providing details of next week's funeral.
Next Thursday at the Triumph Church, Pastor Solomon.
Let's take another second and give the pastor a round of applause for stepping in and volunteering his service to this poor woman's family. Let's keep going.
Kinloch has graciously opened the doors of his church.
And the public is invited as an entire community waits for answers on how this unthinkable tragedy could have happened.
Both the 14-day administrative review and the DPD investigation are still ongoing. We are committed and remain committed to transparency and will share updates as soon as the investigations are.
All right, folks. That was an extremely tragic story. it's too bad that those two kids had to lose their lives in order for the city to step in and do something to provide that woman some housing. So my condolences goes out to the family. Obviously, it is an extremely tragic situation. Now, I know some of you may have been sitting at the edge of your seat waiting for me to pass a judgment call. Who's at fault here? Who should I be calling the POS? Well, the answer to that question is I'm not going to call nobody a POS. I mean, because I feel at this point, some of the questions that I've asked throughout the video have not been answered. Now, based on the answers to those questions, if those questions ever do get an answer, then I'll be able to make a better determination of who's a POS, whose fault it is, and all that. But, right now, I'm not going to automatically write off the father as a individual who's nonchalant and doesn't care and is a complete POS. I'm not going to write him off like that at this point. Now, for those of you that blame the mother, or she's negligent, I can't even talk. She's negligent, she should have done this, she should have done that, she should have done whatever she should have done. Again, although some of that might be true, I will say she did try to seek shelter. She did try to seek help. That much I believe 100%. And I do believe that she loved them kids. So again, I'm not going to sit here and write off the mother as, okay, she's negligent. I can't even talk. I'm tired. Forgive me. I'm not going to sit here and write off the mother as a worthless mother. I mean, like I said, I think there needs to be more questions asked through this investigation. And until those questions are asked, I don't feel comfortable calling anybody a POS at this point. Now, are there things that could have been done differently? Are there things that could have been done better? Of course there are. And I would say on both sides, there's things that could have been done better, both on the mother's half and on the father's half. Like I told you guys, I have too many questions to be able to give you guys a clear answer of who I think is more at fault. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Now, I will say this. For those of you that have kids and you're facing homelessness, or you think you're going to be facing some homelessness, and you're living in a colder climate like Michigan, or in the summer, if you're living in a hotter climate like, let's say, Florida, if feasible, try to keep regular communication with people that you know. Try to familiarize yourself with resources as early as you can. I mean, that's the best advice I can give. If you got kids and you even think there's even somewhat of a chance of you facing homelessness. And obviously, this should go without saying, but I don't care how badly your kid or your children want a particular toy or a electronic I don't care how bad they want those new shoes or that new shirt or those new pants. The number one thing that you gotta prioritize is a roof over your head. And then next to the roof over your head, your transportation. That way you can get to and from your job so you can afford to pay the bills in the first place. Now, I'm not saying this woman put stuff over the ability to provide shelter for her kids. I don't know if she did or not. There's not enough information in the story for me to make that kind of determination. As we all know, rent prices are crazy high. People are really going through it. You got people being evicted, whether they have children or they don't got children. It don't make no damn difference. You got people, unfortunately, in these streets, even though they got kids. Again, it doesn't seem to be making much of a difference in that department either. So that's all I got for this one. I don't want to make it too long here. So stay blessed, stay warm, and I'll catch you guys later.